Hello, my name is Sabra, and this is my podcast called Best Books. In this podcast, I introduce you to two books, and I talk a little bit about them, and then I debate with someone else which of the two books are the best. Today in this podcast, our guest is Mrs. Bradley. Hello, Mrs. Bradley.
Hi, Sabra. How are you?
We're good. Mrs. Bradley is a para for the Manor Hill Library at Manor Hill. During this podcast, we are going to debate whether Harry Potter series or The Miraculous Journey of Edward Tulane is the best. So listen up, readers, and pick which side you're on. Let's start by reading the back of the books, the summary.
Okay, I'll go ahead and start with my book. The title of it, again, is The Miraculous Journey of Edward Tulane. And here's a little synopsis about the book. Once in a house on Egypt Street, there lived a China rabbit named Edward Tulane. The rabbit was very pleased with himself, and for good reason. He was owned by a girl named Albeline, who treated him with the utmost care and adored him completely. And then, one day, he was lost. Kate Millicoke takes us on an extraordinary journey from the depths of the ocean to the net of a fisherman, from the top of a garbage heap to the fireside of a camp, from the bedside of an ailing child to the streets of Memphis. And along the way, we are shown a true miracle that even a heart of the most breakable kind can learn to love, to lose, and to love again.
I've read that book before, and I really enjoy it, and that is a summary that pretty much summarizes all of that book.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're moving on to the summary of Harry Potter. Adaptation of the first of J.K. Rowling's popular children's novels about Harry Potter, a boy who learns on his 11th birthday that he is the orphaned son of two powerful wizards and possesses unique magic powers of his own. He is summoned from his life as an unwanted child to become a student at Hogwarts, an English boarding school for wizards. There he meets several friends who become his closest allies and help him discover the truth about his parents' mysterious deaths.
Interesting.
So now let's talk about why we like these books. So let's start with you. Why do you like The Miraculous Journey of Edward Tulane?
Okay, I have a couple reasons why I really love the book, The Miraculous Journey of Edward Tulane. First of all, I love all the emotions this book takes the reader on, from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows. And I think this book is one of the best for character development because Edward, the main character, learns so much on his journey. I love how the story comes full circle, but in Edward's transition, he can finally appreciate the love from a human. And I also like the size of the book. There are some colorful pictures in it and just the overall feel of the book.
Yes, I actually totally agree with you when I read that book too.
Mm-hmm.
So the reason I like Harry Potter is that it's also kind of a character development story. It shows how Harry Potter grows up and how he changes and makes friends, and it turns the world of a normal person into a magical world that people can think of, and it also has a lot of other resources that go with it, like websites and stuff. And I also like the size of the books because they're kind of long, and I like reading long books.
Mm-hmm. I would definitely agree with you that the character development is huge in Harry Potter. I agree.
So now I have a few points to make. Let's see if you can overrule them and tell me if I'm wrong. So Harry Potter, to me, it has a very catchy setting or story. I just think that an 11-year boy that is finally a wizard, he finally finds out that he's a wizard, is pretty exciting and catchy. So what do you think?
I think that I agree with you. I do think that the setting of Harry Potter is really pretty cool, and there's a lot of things that are going on. I think if I was to say something about Harry Potter compared to The Miraculous Journey of Edward Tulane, is that the Edward Tulane is a smaller book, a much smaller book than what you would see in the Harry Potter series. And if you're not looking for a really big commitment as far as reading, because there's several books in the series, Edward Tulane would be a lot quicker of a book, which would give you some other options to read more books by Kate DiMillico if you really liked the story, or even other books in different genres.
Yeah, I agree with that. So now my second point to make is that Harry Potter has websites and movies, while The Miraculous Journey of Edward Tulane has only been titled into an opera titled Edward Tulane. I'm not trying to make it look bad, though.
I agree with you. I think it's really cool that Harry Potter has websites and board games and all sorts of things that kids can, and even adults can go to enjoy a little bit extra that is given outside of the story. And Edward Tulane certainly doesn't have those things, but I think there is something really special that Edward Tulane does have. I think because Edward Tulane is not a movie and doesn't have all those extra things, it's able to provide the reader with a little bit more of an adventure in their head, where they're able to imagine some of the things that are going on in the story that possibly haven't seen before. So even if you haven't seen the Harry Potter movies, but you've seen posters or commercials or maybe interviews, you kind of already have an idea of what to expect for the character. But in Edward Tulane, you're creating that on your own. And I guess as a final thing is, I feel like in today's culture, we have enough screen time. And so Edward Tulane wouldn't have any of those things, so it really pulls your imagination.
I can definitely agree. It helps your brain not to be looking at a screen and more onto in a book. And you've been hitting me hard. Are you a better reader than me?
I don't think so. We've got great points.
So my last idea is that 500 million copies have been sold worldwide of Harry Potter, and that's a lot.
Ton.
I'm pretty sure that The Miraculous Journey of Edward Tulane is like a lot less than that.
I would agree.
So how would you defend that?
Well, I guess I would say that in the case of Harry Potter, that's so worldwide known and is in different languages across the globe, one of the ways that Edward Tulane would have to be kind of shown or introduced would be like by word of mouth. And so when we talk to people about books that we really love and share the idea of, hey, have you read this book? Kind of like we do with movies. I think it gets people interested in trying something new or maybe looking for something new. So even though Edward Tulane doesn't have the large number of books that are out there like Harry Potter, I think we can still share these littler books through word of mouth to other people.
I also agree with that. Harry Potter would be kind of a hard case to fight. Which one is better?
Definitely.
So let's let the readers choose, or the listeners to this podcast. What do you think? What would you choose, Harry Potter or The Miraculous Journey of Edward Tulane? Which one is your favorite? Thank you for joining us, Mrs. Bradley.
Thank you for having me. It was fun.
I am your host, Sabra, and this was Best Books, where we debate about books. Thanks for listening.